The wizarding world of Harry Potter is one of the most thoroughly constructed universes in fiction. J.K. Rowling crafted detailed backstories for nearly every aspect of this world, from the history of the Hogwarts houses to the lineage of noble wizarding families and even the origins of magical creatures. Many of these details were explored in her books, supplementary works, and notes. Despite this depth, some questions were left unanswered after Voldemort's defeat and Harry's peaceful life 19 years later. While countless intricate aspects of the wizarding world were explained, a few fundamental mysteries still linger. These unresolved questions and potential gaps in the plot have left fans puzzled and wondering about certain elements of the magical universe. Hey, guys, welcome another video of Certified Potterhead number 10. What did wizard children do before they joined Hogwarts? The official age for joining Hogwarts was 11 years old, which was well past the age of early development. Wizarding and Muggle-born children got their letters at this age, and then proceeded to go to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry to learn charms, transfiguration, potions, defense against the dark arts, and several other subjects. What was never clarified in the books was what these children did before the age of 11. If they went to Muggle school, they would have increasing development problems as they may accidentally use magic there, which would break the statute of secrecy. The only possible solution was that they would have to be homeschooled before joining Hogwarts, which would be a big task for wizarding and Muggle parents, both. However, there was no clear answer provided for a magical child's life before Hogwarts. Number 9. What was the Veil in the Department of Mysteries? While it was known that the Veil in the Department of Mysteries was a portal between the land of the living and the realm of the dead, its exact nature was not known. While Luna, Harry, Neville, and even Ginny seemed drawn to it and the voices they heard from beyond, Hermione cautioned them not to go too close to it as it was unnatural. She was correct, as always. The Veil was known to be as old as the Ministry of Magic itself, and its origins seemed unclear. Sirius Black went through it and never returned, which proved that it was dangerous too. It was a sinister and mysterious thing that never got enough of an explanation. Number 8. How did Almagic work? Some of the most magical and exciting elements of the wizarding universe was the existence of the Owl Post. Harry got his Hogwarts letter via Owl Post in rather extreme conditions, and it was the done way of sending communication in the world of wizards and witches. Something that readers never learned was how it worked. While owls were exceptional birds, known for their intelligence, it was never explained how they knew addresses or how they located them through bad weather and other challenges. Some owls were worse at it than others, like Errol, who often flew into windows. Almagic would be another very interesting section of wizardry that fans didn't get to know much about. 7. How did the Ministry of Magic function? The Ministry of Magic was structured like a government, but did not seem like a democracy. In that sense, many elements of Harry Potter were quite medieval, and the Ministry's function also seemed like this. Cornelius Fudge was removed from his post, but it was never mentioned how. Instead, Rufus Scrimgeour was installed in his place. Dumbledore had also been offered the position numerous times. This clearly meant that the Ministry of Magic was not voted into power, and it was some kind of dictatorship, but this was never specified. Considering how important the Ministry was and how it also influenced Hogwarts so much, this burning question should have been answered in some detail at some point. Number 6. How were love potions legal? Potions was a delicate art, and there was one available for nearly every problem in the world. From Felix Felicis, liquid luck, to Polyjuice Potion, allowed shape-shifting, potions could remedy anything. However, it was unfathomable that the love potion was something that was legal in the wizarding world. Viewers saw the direct effects of the love potion on a person when Romilda Vane spiked Harry's chocolates with it. Ron ingested it mistakenly and became obsessed with the girl. Similarly, Maroque Gaunt had given this to Tom Riddle Sr., who lived an entire lie for many years with her, even siring a baby, which was technically sexual assault. Love potions allowed too many such crimes to happen and should have been closely monitored. 5. Why couldn't Harry see the Thestrals earlier? Thestrals, creatures who pulled the carriages from Hogsmeade to Hogwarts for the older students, were mysterious creatures. Skeletal and ominous looking, they could only be seen by those who had witnessed the death of someone else. Else, they would be invisible. For years, Harry had seen the carriages being pulled by nothingness, and he could see the Thestrals only after Cedric Diggory's death in the 4th year. This made little sense, as Harry had witnessed the death of his mother when he was only a year old, and he had lived despite being hit by the killing curse. Thus, he should have been able to see Thestrals from the beginning. However, that was not the case, and fans couldn't help but wonder why. A possible solution could be that Harry couldn't understand his mother's death the way he did Cedric's, which was why he could see the Thestrals in the latter's case. Later Rowlings explained that the reason Harry didn't see the Thestrals at first is that as a baby, he couldn't fully process death. 4. What was the aftermath of the Second Wizarding War? While the immediate aftermath of the Battle of Hogwarts was shown, the results of the Second Wizarding War itself never got any page or screen time. The end of Voldemort's second reign was a big deal, and it would have definitely brought about significant changes to the wizarding world. The entire government would have fallen, and Hogwarts itself would need a total staff change. However, none of this was specified. Fans would have preferred reading about how their universe reached equilibrium again after the terror of the Dark Lord had passed, and how each character dealt with their lives ahead. Hermione lifting the memory charm off her parents and Harry assimilating into a new threatless society would be much better to see than a 19 years later epilogue. Number 3. How did Nagini meet Voldemort? Nagini and Voldemort shared an uncannily close relationship in the Harry Potter series, and it was reckoned that he had encountered the snake sometime in Albania after he was defeated. He turned Nagini into a Horcrux and thus became even more protective of the snake. However, everything changed when Nagini was reintroduced in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as a Maledictus, which meant that she used to be a witch once upon a time. This then created the question of how they even became attached in the first place, as the human Nagini seemed to have a conscience. Seeing how Voldemort and she shared blood, venom, and even the same victims, this bond seemed too important to elaborate on. 2. How did Peter Pettigrew end up with the Weasleys? Ron's beloved pet rat, Scabbers, actually turned out to be an animagus, Peter Pettigrew to be exact. This was the same man who had betrayed James and Lily Potter, framed Sirius Black for it and his own murder, and disappeared into thin air by leaving just a finger behind. It was astonishing that the same man managed to infiltrate the Weasley household. Scabbers had been passed down through the siblings, and somehow, he was never detected. Fred and George should have been able to see Peter Pettigrew on the Marauders map, but they never pointed it out. It would certainly be an interesting story of how a criminal like Pettigrew wormed his way into the Weasley clan. Number 1. Did the legend of the Deathly Hallows make someone the master of death? The legend of the Peverell brothers ultimately did not contribute much to the final battle between Voldemort and Harry. That was still contingent on the Horcruxes and Lily's protection of Harry, but there was some significance to the Deathly Hallows. Harry had proved that the Hallows existed, holding the Elder Wand, the Invisibility Cloak, and the Resurrection Stone with him at one point. Whether that made him the Master of Death or not remains an unanswered question. Harry was clearly a descendant of Ignotus Peverell, but the legend's veracity was never clarified. Since this also barely added to the story of how Harry defeated Voldemort, it seemed like a bit of a waste of space. Thank you.